best record in the Eastern Conference. They get Kevin Durant in the lineup again as he returns, although he's going to sit through the first quarter and let Kyrie Irving handle things, and he handled things. My mid-range is fine. My three-point game, tight. My handle is abusive on people. 16 first-quarter points for him. The Nets, however, trailed by 5, 32-27. Enter Kevin Durant. Always good to have the MVP ready to come off the bench. He's loose. He's ready to go. He was out 3 games, had a bruised thigh, and apparently he looks healthy at the moment, thanks. Contact gets that one to go. Later in the quarter, yeah, soft. Give me one as well. Good finish by Durant. I mean, he just makes it look easy. Remember, he came back the first time he came off the bench and scored a bunch. Didn't miss a single shot. Got that one to go. 61-59, Nets down by a deuce at the break, third quarter. Durant, even more for you. The fadeaway, tough-looking shot. He makes it all look easy. Durant working on Chris Paul. That's a size mismatch. We're just going to, yeah. I mean, at some point, you just got to know when you're beat, right? Yeah. Paul's like, I'll try, but this is, I'd rather do a State Farm commercial. That's easier for him. Irving comes through with a corner 3, and the Nets are up 3. Devin Booker, he was seen around town with a Jenner. I've heard. In New York, yeah, squiring about town. KD back on the floor. Durant from the wing, so smooth. 10 in the quarter, Nets up 5. Early fourth. Suns no joke, right? They're competing for the top spot out there in the West. Brooklyn up 104-95. More from Kyrie. There we go. Like, these are the two that originally signed to play together. James Harden, I would say the afterthought, but he come in late after the trade. It was KD and Kyrie Irving who paired up and said, yeah, let's do this thing in Brooklyn. Nets are up 16. They're running away with this. Durant, 33 points in less than 30 minutes of burn. Irving, 34 points. Brooklyn wins at 128-119. Here's Kevin Durant, who I think could be 6th man of the year.
Coach asked me today if I wanted to start or come off the bench, and I felt like it would be a bigger challenge for me to focus in and lock in if I came off the bench. So I just wanted to see how that worked. And if I would have shot bad, I probably would have been pissed that I came off the bench, but I was able to knock down some shots. And but it was a solid exercise for me to ease back into the swing of things.
Tonight we just made sure, although he'd load up in the second half with minutes, he would have plenty of breaks. And, he'd have come out of the game with a break. He'd have the quarter break. He'd have timeouts. So he came out twice and had a quarter break in between. So we just tried to manage it that way.
How worried are you about KD's durability? Because the big three have only played 7 games together this season.
Well, I'm very worried because I don't think that the Brooklyn Nets come out of the East without KD on the court. That's just the bottom line for me. I think when healthy, he's arguably the best in the world, clearly top 2 as far as I'm concerned. He's that lethal. He's that much of a marksman. He's so efficient offensively. This is what he does, is what he brings to the table. But durability is a huge question mark where he is concerned. There is no way of getting around that. I saw the knees, Trevor Ariza's knee hit his thigh, so it's reasonable. It's not a calf or anything like that, but still in all, his durability is a question mark. And anything with the lower extremities, anything involving the lower extremities, gives me cause to pause when it comes to Kevin Durant because of what he's coming off of with the 18-month layoff due to the Achilles tear. So I look at it from that perspective, along with the plethora of games that he's missed this year, and I definitely think there is concern because, again, as great as James Harden is, as great as Kyrie Irving is, I do not believe for one second that the Brooklyn Nets are coming out of the Eastern Conference without KD on the floor.
Well, I think for a second they could come out of the Eastern Conference. I don't know if I'd pick them, but I think they'd be very live in the East, even without KD. But I don't think of course, you should be concerned. It's Kevin Durant. He's one of the great players in the game. And with a healthy KD and nothing standing in the Nets' way, they're going to obliterate everybody. So, yeah, there should be some concern. But let's not get carried away, Stephen A. First of all, you mentioned it. It's on his thigh. If this was – so at worst, it's indirectly related to an Achilles, kind of, sort of, but not even, because it wasn't like it was a non-contact injury. There was contact. Now, if KD suffered a non-contact injury, and I heard it was his lower hamstring, it was his calf, it was anywhere in that vicinity of the Achilles, and it was non-contact, I'd be like, uh-oh. But if you asked me to start the season, hey, Nets fans, would you sign up for this? KD, because of some, getting back and some injuries and stuff, will only play around half the games by this time in the season, but he'll be playing on the level we've seen him playing. I think they would sign up. The main thing is the quality of his play does not, if it's diminished, it's hard to tell. Maybe on defense a little bit, even though he was accepting the toughest defensive assignment in the beginning of the season consistently when they weren't playing good defense, but he was still taking on that assignment. No, offensively, he looks just about the same to me. He suffered a contact injury to a different part of his body. No, I'm not gonna be overly concerned. And Stephen A., let's just think how we were feeling about the Rockets when it was James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Now, we didn't like him, but we gave him a puncher's chance with Westbrook and Harden. But in terms of the playoffs, Kyrie has a better track record than Westbrook, frankly, because he shoots better. So you mean to tell me that that team had a puncher's chance, but this team, with a better supporting cast, Joe Harris and these guys, and Kyrie and not Westbrook, you mean to tell me, and Harden, by the way, playing on the highest level we've ever seen him play on, they don't have a good shot to get out of the East? I think they're just as live, just right in the class of the Sixers and the Bucks to get out of the East, even without KD. But with KD? Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course you like the Nets.
What I would ask is that if you're going to dance, why don't you at least wait until Tuesday or Wednesday? We're going to end the weekend and come on in the first segment. We're going to start dancing already. Well, I wouldn't pick them, but they're live. Really? That's what we're doing? I'm making a definitive statement. I'm saying that I don't believe they're coming out of the East. I didn't get into the can'ts or whatever the case may be. You could have an any given Sunday mentality when it comes to football.
Who's coming out of the East?
Hold on. I'm speaking now. Hold on. The point is that you can have an any given Sunday mentality when it comes to football. In basketball, obviously with with James Harden and Kyrie on the floor, you want to say a puncher's chance or better than a puncher's chance. Sure, I'm not going that route. I'm making a statement that I don't believe they're coming out of the East. Now, that could mean, Max, they get to Game 7 of an Eastern Conference Finals and then lose. Does that mean they came out of the East? No, exactly. No, they did not. I'm making a definitive statement. I'm not getting into whether they're live or not. I understand with Kyrie and James Harden on the court, you could potentially beat anybody. I don't believe that they're coming out of the East against anybody, Philadelphia, Milwaukee specifically, without Kevin Durant on the floor. That's what I'm saying. I didn't bring up, are they live? I didn't bring up, they have a chance. I'm saying I don't have them coming out of the East without Kevin Durant on the court. I don't believe they will be representing the East in the NBA Finals. That's my position.
Number one, I probably would take the Sixers because what's your answer for Embiid? But it's not like in basketball in the beginning of every season, we have a very good feeling about who it's going to be. There are 2 or 3 teams because basketball is fundamentally determinative in the NBA. You play a best of 7, the team with the best players, it's not like the tournament or the NFL or Major League Baseball where you get freaky kind of upsets the same way in the NBA. So what I'm saying is without KD, that's one of the teams you would identify still as a good shot to come out of the East as the Nets. But that's just one part, Stephen A. The other is we don't have to get crazy alarmed over this injury. As I said, it's not a non-contact injury, and it doesn't look like it's directly related to the Achilles. Like, that could happen to anybody, really. You get a little thigh contusion or whatever, you got to come out of the game. Now, KD's, 7 feet tall. He's a lanky dude. He's never been, brolic. He's not LeBron James. And so that's always been, you could always be concerned about that sort of thing with KD. But my point is, I'm no more concerned about an injury like this now than I would be, 5 years ago with KD.
Fair enough. My position is that when he tore his Achilles, it wasn't the first time in his career he was injured and it compromised their postseason. And because he's tall and he's lanky and he's not as durable as, say, a LeBron James, that's a big, big issue. And I think that when you look at the Philadelphia 76ers, the way they defend and the way Joel Embiid has been playing and the shooters that they surround him with and the way Tobias Harris has been playing, along with Seth Curry and others. And then you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, who acquired Drew Holiday. You still got the Greek Freak. You still got Middleton. You picked up P.J. Tucker. Obviously, you still got Brooks Lopez. And you think about what they can do defensively and how they're still a major player in all of this. And they got 2 games coming up against Philadelphia on their home turf within the next week. We'll see what they do there. My point is, I think both are so formidable that the Brooklyn Nets absolutely would require the services of Kevin Durant in order to beat one of those 2 teams. And
Well,
that's the way
listen.
I'm looking at it. And so because of it, that's why the question about are you worried about Kevin Durant's durability is so profound to me, because I believe he is the difference maker. He is the one who will decide whether the Brooklyn Nets go to the NBA Finals or not.
Can Kyrie and Harden get to the finals without having KD?
No. I've said it on many occasions. I'll say it again. Start off the show saying it. I'll say it again. It's not going to happen because of the way the Philadelphia 76ers look and the way the Milwaukee Bucks look. Harden and Kyrie are great. Kyrie is box office as far as I'm concerned. He's the number one attraction for me. He's my favorite player to watch this year. He's been an absolute showstopper. He's just nasty, no question. But come playoff time, when you're preparing for a best 4 out of 7, I'm thinking along the lines of the size and the defensive prowess that both Philadelphia and Milwaukee bring to the table. And I'm saying that the X factor in it all will be KD, because neither team has any answer for Kevin Durant, like no one else in the NBA has an answer for Kevin Durant. He's simply that lethal. And I think that with him on the court, the Brooklyn Nets obviously go to the finals and should be favorites to win the chip. Without him, I don't think they get out of the East. I just look at it, and even though I like what they've been doing, Joe Harris has been doing, Landry Shamet dropped 30 the other day. I like what he's been doing. I'm just looking at them collectively, and I'm saying it still comes down to the absence of Kevin Durant. If you don't have him, you don't have a replacement for him. And that's why I don't believe Philadelphia or Milwaukee, the Brooklyn Nets would not get by both of them. I just don't see it.
I might not make them the favorites, but I can't say they can't win without KD, because I saw them win a lot without KD. Stephen A., they went from being a team before the Harden trade, I thought, not enough. Like KD and Kyrie, I thought, what you're saying about these other teams in the East, maybe they could do it, but I might like the depth of the other teams a little bit more. Once they got Harden, they had no KD. It's like they couldn't lose. They basically got to the best record in the East without KD, with just Harden and Kyrie, and sometimes it was just James Harden. Even when they go on to the West Coast and play the Blazers and the Jazz. No, and look, are they going to have matchup problems with Embiid? Well, who's not? But you're still counting by twos with Embiid for the most part. If he's getting 3, I mean, he can shoot the 3, but given the number of threes he's taking, he's getting 3 the hard way. He's not bombing from 3. So, yeah, they would still have chances in that matchup. Absolutely, especially with Joe Harris, who's actually the best shooter on the team. And they have bigs who can play, like big bodies who can play. Of course, not a match for Embiid, but Claxton and Blake and guys. They have DeAndre. They have some bodies they can throw at him. Sure. Now, what you're saying is with KD, they win. No doubt. If everyone's healthy on the Nets, including KD, ain't no one stopping them, including the Lakers, given the way they improved on defense and the way I saw Harden and Kyrie dominate the league without KD. So you add KD, I'm with you. But even without KD, they're one of the front runners in the division. Them, the Bucks, and the Sixers. It's going to be one of those 3 teams, most likely. Yeah, they can do it without him.
Okay. We shall see. Best 4-7. They get an opportunity to prepare for you. We've watched Miami beat them. We beat Milwaukee. We talked about bubble play, but Miami's perimeter shooting basically sealed the deal. And we know that that Kyrie and James Harden are capable of doing that. But I just think that when you look at the Philadelphia 76ers, according to Joel Embiid, and you'll see some of my interview with him tonight on SportsCenter with Stephen A. leading into the game tonight.
Wait, where is it? Where is it, Stephen A.? Where's the interview?
On ESPN. It'll be on ESPN tonight on my pregame show, SportsCenter with Stephen A. at 7 o'clock. And then tomorrow the interview will air in its entirety on Stephen A.'s World on ESPN+. But as he mentions, we don't have one Defensive Player of the Year candidate. We got 2, in me and Ben Simmons. So, I mean, when I think about it from that perspective, and I think about how formidable Joel Embiid has been with the shooters that he's been surrounded with the way that Doc Rivers and his staff have Tobias Harris and Seth Curry and others playing, I just think it's too much of an ask for Brooklyn to come out of the Eastern Conference without KD. And I'm going to reiterate, I think Julius Randle right now, the way that he has been balling with the New York Knicks, I think that he's an MVP candidate, even though not a top 2 one. And I think that when you look at Tom Thibodeau, I think he's a coach of the year. And if the Knicks make the playoffs and the Nets don't make the finals, the New York Knicks will be considered a success story, and the Brooklyn Nets will be considered a failure.
This is what I have to say about that, Stephen A. I saw James Harden take a Daryl Morey put-together team and a Mike D'Antoni coached team. I saw James Harden take a way undermanned team, way undermanned, no Chris Paul, to 7 games against KD, Steph, Clay, Dre, everybody. And without Chris Paul, they still had a chance to win the game. They had an historically bad shooting night.
That's not accurate. Chris Paul got hurt. Chris Paul got hurt in Game 5.
Yeah.
Okay? They lost Game 6 and then lost Game 7.
Right, but I'm talking about Game 7. I'm
saying,
saying
but Chris Paul was there.
Oh, yeah, I understand. No, I get it. But I'm saying he played without Chris Paul, had an all-time bad shooting night, Harden and the team. At one point was 0 for 27 from 3. 0 for 27, lost by single digits to that Warriors team. No one came close to sniffing that Warriors team except that Houston team that almost beat them. Now, I saw Harden do that, right? Okay, you mean to tell me Harden with Kyrie Irving, if those guys can stay healthy on this team with a shooter like Joe Harris, Shamet, they have guys, has no shot against these Eastern Conference teams? I don't see any Warriors in the East.
I didn't say no shot. I said I'm not picking them to come out of the East.
Can they win? I think they certainly can win. And I think this is what it's going to come down to if there's no KD. The same thing I've been harping on the whole time. Can James Harden stay James Harden in the playoffs when it matters most? Stephen A., you might be right. Maybe they can't win. But if they really can't win, it's because Harden didn't rise to the occasion. He plays like he played in the regular season, they can definitely win.
I've been told I can have an afro and a hairline that'll move 2 feet forward.